My name is Elizabeth Renee Fajardo, and I am the director of a program, Journey Through Our Heritage, which is under the Department of Chicano Studies. We are an Indigenous-based outreach program, K through 12, and also a retention program. My family background is pretty interesting because we have been in what is now called the state of Colorado for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. We are an indigenous people that can trace our roots back to the Picaries Pueblo. So I grew up in a very multicultural atmosphere where my family had been miners, they had been farm workers, they had been people that ran cantinas, people that were always interacting with the world about them and making changes as things changed in the universe, and sort of people that learned how to survive here and how to basically get along with all of their neighbors that were coming from other parts of the world. So growing up in a family like that, I remember in my earliest years, my grandmother and my tias, we would go out into the yard and we would pack sack lunches for what people back then called hobos. They were people that rode the rails. And we always had, there was always beans and chili on the stove, and they were always making tortillas, because anybody in the neighborhood or anybody that was passing through that didn't have food or clothing or even sometimes a place to stay was always being taken into our homes. So we grew up with that atmosphere, is that people that had less than you were people that you had to open your hearts to and your homes to, because it was only by the grace of God that you had anything. So we always were very, very philanthropic, and it wasn't something you even thought about. It was just that if somebody needs something, you were there for them, and it didn't matter what color they were, what culture they were. I think what we have to remember is that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't just talking about his time frame in his life at that moment. He was talking about everything that had come from the past and everything that will be in the future. As human beings are always human beings. We are always going to have turmoil and chaos, and there's always going to be these issues. But the thing that you have to keep in your heart is every day is a new day. And if you just keep going forward and you remember what he was saying about you cannot combat hate with hate. You can't make any difference by taking more dark and throwing it at the darkness. You have to have hope in your heart. You have to have love. You have to have trust. And you have to look at people not for the color of their skin or their culture or their religion or their sexual orientation. What you have to really look at them is their character and believe that people can be transformed by love.